Look at verse 28. It says, and Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Isaac loved Esau because Esau made good barbecue. That's not a good reason to love your son, one son more than another. You should love your children equally, of course, not prefer one over the other. But remember, the Lord had revealed to Rebekah that she was going to have twins, and that the older was going to serve the younger, and that the younger is the promised son. And so they know that, and Isaac is essentially ignoring God's choice of Jacob, and he's preferring the irresponsible, rebellious, profane son because he's a good hunter and can cook a good steak. While Rebekah, she knows what God has said, and so she loves Jacob. Now in verse 29, we see just how profane Esau was. It says in verse 29, now Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field. So he comes home. Who knows where he's been? And he was weary. And Esau said to Jacob, verse 30, please feed me with that same red stew. It's literally like that red stuff. For I'm weary. Whatever you got there in the pot. And therefore his name was called Edom. The word Edom means red. So Esau was known by two names. His given name is Esau, hairy, and his nickname was Red. Edom. Now watch what Jacob says, verse 31. But Jacob said, sell me your birthright as of this day. As the firstborn son in the family, the oldest son, Esau had the birthright. The oldest son would become the patriarch of the family, the leader of the family once the father passes away. And as the patriarch, as the oldest son would be responsible. There's a great deal of responsibility that comes with being the oldest son. He would be responsible for leading the family, making decisions for the family, caring for the family, both physically, the physical needs, and spiritually. The patriarch was the spiritual leader or the priest of the family. So being the oldest son came with a lot of family responsibilities and a lot of spiritual responsibilities. And by the way, God calls all of us and gives all of us different responsibilities within the family. Whether you're a husband or a wife or father, mother, a child, whatever it may be, we have these responsibilities, God ordained responsibilities within the family. Well, Esau, he has already demonstrated he didn't care about his family responsibilities. He's profane. He's godless. He doesn't care about anything spiritual. Jacob knows that. And so Jacob said, sell me your birthright. Jacob wants the responsibility. He wants to lead the family. He wants to be the priest of the home. He's got a desire for that. And he says, sell me your birthright. Give me the responsibility to lead the family. I know that you don't want it. Give me the responsibility. Now, just so you know, the firstborn son was allowed to sell his birthright to a younger brother in the family. So this wasn't something that was totally unheard of that Jacob asked for here. And note here that Jacob is not twisting Esau's arm. He's not taking advantage of Esau. There's nothing in this passage that implies Jacob took advantage of Esau. Esau could just go into the tent and make a sandwich for himself if he wants to keep his birthright. And so verse 32, look at Esau. Esau said, look, I'm about to die. So what is this birthright to me? And Esau, of course, is exaggerating. He's not about to die. If you have a teenage boy, teenage boys are never hungry. They're starving to death. Mom, what do we have to eat? I'm starving to death. I'm going to die. I don't eat right now. So Jacob said, swear to me as of this day. So he swore to him. And he sold his birthright. And Jacob gave Esau bread and stew of lentils. And then Esau ate and drank, arose, and went his way. He didn't think twice about what he just did. And it says, thus Esau despised his birthright. Not that he just didn't care about it, he despised it. Esau was willing to throw away everything God had given him for a crust of bread and a bowl of soup. I mean, that's how little he valued it. He was willing to throw it all away just to satisfy his flesh for a moment. And we all know people who've thrown away everything just to satisfy their flesh for a moment. Where it costs maybe their marriage or their family or their career or their reputation just for a few moments of pleasure. They value it so little. It doesn't matter to them. Esau sold his birthright for a piece of bread and a bowl of soup because it says Esau despised his birthright. He didn't want the responsibility in his family. He despised it. The word means it was worthless to him. I don't want this. And the point here is to show us just how Esau had no desire for the things of God and didn't value the things of God and didn't care about God's plan for his life, didn't care about the place of privilege that God had given him as the firstborn son, didn't care about the responsibility to God and the responsibility to lead his family. He just didn't care about any of it because he's a profane person. He's a godless person, and a profane person puts no value on God's plan for them or God's plan for their family. While Jacob is upright in God's sight. And Jacob has a desire to fulfill God's calling and a desire for God's God-ordained responsibility. He has a desire to lead his family. Give it to me. I'll step into that role. He's pursuing it. Right? He's pursuing that position of leadership, that position of responsibility. I want to take that on. I put that burden on me. Give it to me. And I'll lead the family. I'll be the priest of the home. I'll guide our family. I know that you don't want it. I'll take it. Right? And so you see this contrast here between Esau and Jacob. One who is profane and one who is upright. One who is irresponsible and one who is responsible.